Hello and welcome to Queer Abbey, a weekly chat show that's like performed, it's like recorded, and it's like produced by yours truly. Oh my God, it's the new year. I'm so excited to be going into 2025, kind of. I mean, there's good things about it. There's plenty of bad things about it as well. But I'm excited to be here nonetheless for the 32nd episode of this show. So my New Year resolution. What am I doing for the new year? Nothing. I have spent so much time bedrotting this December because the juxtaposition of being extremely busy from school and then having time off, my body was like screeching halt. So I have played so much Assassin's Creed. I have laid in my bed. I have made cookies and done lots of fun little things like that. So my resolution is to continue making time to rest, I guess, and also to stop biting my nails. That's like always my my goal. But that's something I think I can take some time to actually focus on right now because there's been so much work done in other areas of my life, which is really awesome to say, you know? And I've been in unstable living situations in the past or been really financially insecure. And those things override the lower, or I guess the higher parts of the taxonomy. You know what I'm talking about? Like that pyramid of needs, Bloom's taxonomy that they use in school. Sometimes when you're concerned about your well-being or your security, your body is going to be just focused on that. And then when we have the opportunity to be really in our body and focus, that's when we can do things like work on ourselves. We can create really amazing art and interface with the deepest parts of ourselves, which is really amazing. So, yay. I think I've talked about it plenty of times, actually, but singing is one of those things that requires you to be so in tune with all of the facilities in your body. I mean, you have to coordinate your brain and your mouth and your lungs and your what's it called? Your larynx and all of these little tiny minutiae in your body. And they all work together to produce this complex result. Our voices are these amazing, magical, layered things. I've also discussed the overtone series in the past, but basically our bodies have this sort of woodwind-like mechanism that moves air through our vocal cords, and it produces this vibration that's so unique that we can even register because our ears are biologically geared to understand voices, so we can pick up all of the minor details and recognize one person's voice from another because of just the distinct shapes within the sound wave that they produce when they speak, when they're moving air with their lungs, which is just amazing. And then when you get into singing, it becomes even more mystical because it's like, where do people's emotions come into play? How do we get so expressive with singing, and why does it do such magical things to our nervous system? Like, singing can really connect you to your memories. It can really connect you to even the present moment and your help you to get into your body because you're like breathing and vibrating and and all that. But it's hard to do when you're not secure, like I was talking about earlier. You have to be in the right headspace and you have to feel safe to connect like that. Aw. So yeah, got to get in your body this year. Maybe that's a good goal for everybody to focus on, being very aware of themselves and where they're at in their nervous system. I know my system is nervous. School starts up again next week, which I think is going to bring me a welcome sense of structure. I do benefit from having a schedule, just not one that's chock full of stuff that I don't want to do. That's all. This term should be pretty fun. I'm taking a sound design class where we're going to score a movie, which is really exciting. And yeah, I'm starting to think about career prospects and where I want to take this podcast and all of those sorts of things because I graduate in the springtime, which is just, let's see, it's January. So January, February, March, April, May. Oh my God, that's 5 months away. I think I'll actually do the ceremony in June, but I'm almost done. I've had a lot of friends recently, kind of going on a tangent here. This is a different subject. I've had a lot of friends ending their relationships recently. I've been noticing that. A few friends have come to me because they're having a hard time. And it was funny because it was all within the span of about 1 week that I had 3 different friends tell me that their either being broken up with or that they're breaking up with their partners. And it must be something about this time of the year. I guess right after the holidays is oftentimes when people sort of, their sense of romanticism falls away a little bit. Cuffing season's over. Ugh, God, that's such a gross concept. That people actively look to be in a relationship. Well, maybe it's not gross, but it kind of isn't good for me. I don't think I would want to like look to be in a relationship for specifically 3 months. Like that just seems so weird to try to fit an organic dynamic into something that's like such a specific time frame. But I also understand like people are just cold and lonely during the winter time. So maybe it's not bad and evil, but the concept just sort of rubs me the wrong way of like, I gotta find a girlfriend for 3 months because I'm lonely. I need somebody to take to Christmas so my mom doesn't think I'm gay. So, okay, maybe that's more so what it is. I have trauma, baba. I'm pretty sure there's a new season of RuPaul's Drag Race airing right now as well. I will get into that. I will. I'm getting old and I can't keep up with all of the like litany of Drag Race franchises that there are. It literally feels like a list of martyrs being read out loud. Like it's like, okay, Drag Race Philippines, Drag Race España, Drag Race Germany, Drag Race Belgique, Drag Race France, Drag Race, did I already say Thailand, Japan? I don't know if they greenlit Japan, actually. So many, girl. So many. Drag Race Philippines. Drag Race Canada. Drag Race Mexico. Drag Race... I don't know. It just keeps going. There's so many. I love it. I started watching RuPaul's Drag Race. And I would assume, honestly, that most people who are listening to this would know what that is. But in case you don't, RuPaul, really iconic drag queen, sort of gender nonconformist person that became really popular in the 90s because of their music video Supermodel. And they were also, little trivia fact, in the B-52's music video for Love Shack. That was one of their first mainstream appearances, was in that music video. Before that, they were like a club dancer and a nightclub like performer, somebody who would be paid to like promote club gigs and stuff at like the Pyramid Club in New York. They were a little club kid, famously. And then they were recruited to do like music videos. Then they got their own little deal to make Supermodel. And then they sort of got worldwide acclaim from there. RuPaul went a little bit under the radar during like the early 2000s. And then, well, not completely. I mean, RuPaul was always doing stuff. They had their own talk show during the 90s with Michelle Visage. And then it eventually, RuPaul came way, way into the mainstream in like 2015 or 16 after RuPaul's Drag Race was in its like 5th or 6th season. I started watching it when I was 12 in like 2012, and it opened up my eyes to this whole world of like queer people and cross-dressers and trans people. My sister, who I'm sure is listening to this, love you so much, Taylor, what like kind of slid it across the table at me like, hey, I think you might really enjoy this show, without really saying the words like, hey, you little faggot, you should watch this. But that was kind of what the intention was, like, hey, you might kind of relate to these people a little bit. And it really was a gift to me to like open up my worldview like that, because it made me feel so seen, and I immediately recognized that there was other people kind of like me in the world, which is very important. As we all know, we all need to feel seen. We all need to feel part of a community to be healthy and grounded people. Returning to the kind of original point, I don't have time to watch RuPaul's Drag Race anymore. There's so many franchises, but I think that's a lovely thing, to be honest, because if it does a tenth of what it did for me, for any other queer kid like out there that needs that lifeline of knowing that there's other queer people in the world, then please spread it everywhere. I won't say that's my intention with this podcast. It's not far-reaching. It's mostly for me. But that too. Honestly, I hope anybody listening, my sister, one of my lovely friends, maybe you can relate to me a little deeper through this interface, because I'm just sitting here chatting about some of the things that are on my mind. And if that makes you feel better about something or makes you feel seen in some way, then I am glad I've done my little job. Yay. Well, with that, let us get on to an entertaining part of this little podcast, the advice segment. I have a couple of fun prompts for you this week. Let's get into it. Alrighty, y'all. Welcome to the Advice segment of Queer Abbey. The first prompt this week is from an anonymous caller, and they, didn't ask, they commented. I hate my job so much. I work at the movies. It's really not too hard, but I hate it so dang much. Most of my other jobs I was able to hang it out, but it's only been 3 days at this job and I already really hate it. They put me in the kitchen, which is the only place I specifically asked not to be put. I hate working with food and coming home with a smell. Next thing is standing for 9 hours is so hard. My back hurts so damn much and I can't sit down or I'll get in trouble. I hate it, but my family keeps saying I'm just complaining. What should I do? Well. Movie theater sufferer. I have some pretty classic advice for you on this one, which is, I think, pretty much what any dad would say. You should find another job while you still have this one. The good old line another one up and then you can quit. If you have a modicum of respect for the people that you work for, you should put in a notice. Doesn't even have to be 2 weeks. A week? It's a movie theater, like they'll live. But I also think that you work with human beings, and on an interpersonal level, it's nice to warn people when you're going to leave. It's just the kind thing to do. But you should not stay somewhere where you're miserable, especially if it's causing you physical pain. Most employers now, we live in a fucking dystopian nightmare, and I actually left the last dispensary that I worked at because we were so slow, and so we had chairs to sit in while there were not customers. And then we got a new manager that came in because this is a huge trigger warning, to be honest. I'm going to mention something that happened in my life, but one of my coworkers committed suicide, actually. And then an interim manager came in, and then everything in my job changed. It was really jarring, to be honest, because not only did this fucking loss happen, this person that I knew and that was my friend, but then they kind of made the entire workplace worse afterwards. It was really, really shitty. So between losing my friend and losing my place to sit, I was like, what the fuck? I cannot stay here. And I left. Being forced to stand on your feet for 8 hours is not normal. It's actually not. And I will die on this hill that employers should absolutely give you a place to sit when you're not actively working on something. And the myth that you should constantly be scrubbing and cleaning every second of every day is so annoying because everybody fantasizes about not having to do that. So they basically, anybody who's a woman or the new hire or anything like that gets expected to bear the Herculean load of cleaning everything and keeping the bathroom stocked and cleaned, and even going to the fucking grocery store to get snacks for the break room and stuff. People get relegated to these tasks because they're entry level or because they're not respected or because they're a minority or something like that. It happens all the fucking time. And you don't need to be that bitch. You can definitely if you've had a couple of jobs before, which it sounds like you have, then that means that you have enough experience to move upward. You can make a move that's not lateral if you try hard enough. And I believe that. It's miserable, to be honest, to have to apply for other jobs while you have to go work another one. It's exhausting, but you can do it. It's possible. If you can get away with it, you should get on Indeed on the work computer. Who cares? But they probably would know that you're doing that, just so you know. All right, that's all of my advice. Find another job. Don't stay at the one that sucks. Find one that pays more. Move to another state. Who knows? Maybe any of those things could be a positive move for you. Moving on to the next prompt. Maybe you should start a podcast. I'll produce it for you. You can just pay me to do that. Okay, next one. This is also career-oriented. I guess that's really where we're at right now. Capricorn season. The next caller asked, Queer Abbey, my friend has recently become a life coach. ... Now I'm being spammed. Hi, I have a friend. She's 40, a female, who has gone on a health kick and had lost weight. She now has started a side gig as a health and life coach. Problem is, she started sending inspirational messages to me via WhatsApp every single day. How can I politely tell her to stop? I don't want any messages without offending her. Oh, that sentence doesn't make sense. How can I politely tell her to stop? There should be a comma. I don't want any messages without offending her. Not me correcting your grammar, sorry. Well, that's annoying. I think that this is the time that you can utilize the tools that are available to you on social media, because what you can do is just turn the notifications off. I don't use WhatsApp regularly. I know that's really commonly used for international communication, but like, I know that you can definitely silence the notifications. If you use an iPhone, you can do it through the control center. You can just silence the permission, or like take the permission away for the app to give you notifications, and then you just won't have to see it, you know? If this is the main place that you communicate with her, and like she's like kind of polluting the entire like group chat with inspirational messages because she's trying to like promote her business, that's really tone deaf. I think there's really a time and a place to like promote yourself. It's double-sided too, because people on one hand don't do it enough. I think people are so ashamed of like looking cringy or like being unprofessional or whatever. But then on the other hand, some people have this fucking wealth of confidence to be like, do you want to buy my seaweed wrap? Oh, it only costs $600 for a 6-month treatment so you can stop being so fat. It's like, okay, no thank you. The MLM stuff is just so fucking, and I'm not talking men loving men, I'm talking multi-level marketing, honey. That's a nightmare. That's a mess. Yeah, if one of your friends starts selling Mary Kay, you should just politely put them on silent, notifications silenced. If it gets really bad, then you should stop being their friend, because it sounds annoying. If somebody's not considerate and it extends to the level of them constantly barraging you with like advertisements, that's not friendly and nice. Don't be friends with them. Feels. Okay, let's get one more prompt in here real quick. The third prompt for this week asks, Queer Abbey, how do I tell my boss that his following on X is public, X being Twitter, and everyone can see him following NSFW/OnlyFans accounts? I can only imagine how that came to light. Can you imagine like going on Twitter and then like your boss is like a suggested follow, and then all of his likes are just like a bunch of like hardcore porn? People are like that, to be honest. Sometimes we lack self-awareness to like know things like that, or like technological proficiency. Oh, and that's so funny. I think there's been like former presidents and everything on fucking Twitter back in the day that have been liking porn tweets, and congressmen. It happens all the time. So your boss is not alone. And low-key, if it was me, I'm evil. I would not tell him. I'd just let him keep doing it. I'd be like, what you like in there, Hefe? But if you wanted to politely tell him, I think that you should do it with an air of professionalism. Like, you could definitely send an email, which I think would be a good idea, so that there's like a trail, like a traceable like conversation that you had, so that you can say like, no, I approached this professionally in case there was any sort of weirdness or retaliation. That's maybe one reason that you don't bring it up, because this person might be embarrassed, and it might that embarrassment might be associated with the messenger, unfortunately. So either let the man embarrass himself. I'm assuming, is it a man? Yeah, his following. Let the man embarrass himself. Or if you really care, or you're trying to earn like brownie points, maybe, I don't know, send him an email, knock on his door, say, hi, I just wanted to bring to your attention something that came into my awareness. I know that we like to promote professionalism within this company, that we do our best to have a public image that represents our brand. But I noticed that there was some online presence associated with your brand that is not aligning with those values. So I went ahead and attached a screenshot to this email. And you can go ahead and reconcile this on your own time. Something like that. I don't know if that's perfect, but you got to really get into that corporate speak. Use words like reconcile, and he'll fix it right up. And then you'll get a raise, and then you'll be a billionaire. I'm just kidding. That's not the goal. I don't want to be a billionaire. I just want to live in the woods. Well, anyway, that's going to be the advice segment for this week. Let's move on to a really exciting musical spotlight. This is just a quick reminder that if you wanted to have an advice prompt answered. If you want to have your music featured on Queer Abbey, or if you just want to make a fun comment, if you want to tell me how pretty I look, then you can send an anonymous comment through the link that is in the description of this episode, or you can send us an email to queerabbey@gmail.com. That's QUEERABBEY@gmail.com. Or we even have a phone number, an inbox there. You can send us a voicemail, or you can send us a text message even. That's going to be 503-567-2053. Have yourself a little crawdad afterwards. Alrighty, y'all. Moving on to our fantastic musical spotlight. This week from a local artist named Zyanna, who is also an alum of Portland State University, the jazz voice program. I believe, anyhow. I didn't check in on that, to be honest. But that is where I first encountered Zyanna, which is their artist name, by the way. We had an ephemeral sort of run-in when I had just started music school. I got to watch them perform during, it's called a noon concert. They're like little area performances that the music programs do. So their students perform for each other and they get a chance to like kind of jam, and they bring stuff that they're working on. It always absolutely terrified me, to be honest. That was one of the hard parts about being a performance major, is getting up and singing in front of people. And she was really encapsulated my attention. I immediately was like, whoa, this person's a really good singer. Yeah, and I kind of just kept up with them very from a distance since then. And they released an album this past October, so that caught my attention. And I finally got the chance to listen all the way through it, and it fucking rocks. This album is called Dance of the Dragonfly. Like I said, it came out in October of this last year, so she's pretty fresh. And it deals with these really reflective themes. Zyanna identifies as queer, and I think that this is more so a recent revelation. Maybe not to her, but to the world. And so there's a few tracks on there that really directly address that. One is called Lavender Menace, which I really connected with. There's a bunch of sort of clips of people speaking about civil rights back when people like it sounds like it's like Stonewall era, because it's this lesbian that's like, yeah, we can't go anywhere without being fucking beat up, and I have to be there for myself. And it's extremely reflective. It's definitely important to me. The other tracks are a little bit more personally reflective. There's one that I really enjoyed called Slow Burn. That's sort of about a romance that just sort of keeps you entangled for a long time, a slow burn. But the track that I chose to feature is called Godspeed. Godspeed is the second track on the album, and this one has just immaculate vibes. Zyanna is clearly really good at writing jazz harmony, because this one has this like ramping, very atmospheric kind of sound to it. You'll definitely see what I mean. It's a little bit of a longer song, so definitely get yourself a little beverage and sit down and listen all the way through it, because it builds and it builds, and it's just very energetic. There's a couple of really talented players on this album. I know that Zyanna wrote the music, sang it, and played the bass. They are very multi-talented in that regard. And then you've got Devasite Phelps, who is a very well-known keys player around town. They're also a Portland State alum. And Day Bryant, who is playing the drums. I'm not familiar with the latter person. However, they're clearly really fucking good. Let us not delay too much. I want you to listen to Godspeed with me. This is going to be from the album Dance of the Dragonfly by Zyanna.
ignite the fire. I won't ignore it. The patience is long expired. I will go on. Soon my soul will be free. I'll take no more. Forever Godspeed. Don't make excuses. I've heard it all before. Loneliness broke me and shaped me to take no more. Why can't you see this ain't no good for me? It's over now. Forever Godspeed. I'm not revengeful, no need for disrespect. Peace over drama, can't help but still reflect. I know you're hurt, you're digging yourself a hole. I stay alert, cleanse and reserve my soul.
All right, y'all. That was Godspeed by Zyanna. That little, the sparkly sound of the keys. Such good layering of all of the vocals. I can hear Zyanna doing this lower harmony in my left ear. And then there's this other like sort of fill of voices in my right ear. And then she's just ramping and singing about Godspeed on top of it. It's so beautiful. So fantastic job, Zyanna, and everybody else who worked on this project. I really look forward to hearing more music from you or catching you around town. I know that I will absolutely have the link to Zyanna's Spotify provided in the description of this episode, per usual. But you can also keep up with them on their socials. I know that they have an Instagram that's under Zyanna Music. So please look them up and see where you can catch them live, because there is nothing like getting to experience these really amazing jazz players perform these kinds of tunes live, because it's just as good. I'm sure that this was probably done in minimal takes in a live studio setting. I could tell by the atmospheric sound and the quality of her vocal. So, like, she can whip this out for you in a performance venue, right? Like, if you want this kind of sound, you can hire them and they're going to sound damn good. So check out Zyanna, see where you can see them live. Same thing with Devastate Phelps and Dave Bryant. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go see when I can see them in concert. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of your week. That's going to wrap up what we've got for this episode. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I'll see you next Sunday on Queer Abbey. Mwah.